Now in this video I will discuss about a recent announcement by China of launching its own cryptocurrency, and I will also discuss about the blockchain technology with example in the last phase of this discussion. So China, which seeks to be the first major economy in the world to launch a digital currency, and it will make a trial of using a digital yuan in the four of its urban cities such as Shenzhen, Suzhou, Chengdu and Zhongnan. It includes the payments of local government employees and the transportation subsidies, and the ultimate goal is to have a full-fledged functionality of this digital currency by the time of 2022. Now this is also known as eRMB. RMB is nothing but a short form of renminbi, which is said to be the official currency of China, and the yuan is nothing but a unit of renminbi. Likewise, in India we have INR as our official currency, and its unit is rupee. So the digital currency, that is eRMB, will not be issued in large amounts, and it will be in circulation with the public in the short term, and the digital currency in the circulation would not lead to an inflation surge. As you may be knowing that whenever central bank increases the currency supply or increases the currency in the economy, then inflation results, and the inflation is nothing but general increase of the price of the goods. So that is why they will be launching it in a short term, and it will not be issued in the large amounts. And initially there will be three major cities, the Shenzhen, Suzhou and Chengdu, where it will be tested, and it will be trial in 4 cities but tested in 3 cities. So Central Bank of China, that is People's Bank of China PBOC, which is the central bank of the country, will be the sole issuer of this particular digital yuan, and initially it will offer the digital money to commercial banks and other operators, and the normal public will be able to convert their physical money, which is stored in their bank accounts, to the digital version and make deposit via electronic wallets. So what is the significance of this particular launch? China's digital currency electronic payment, or DCEP, it is a significant approach of the country towards the progress towards the digital yuan or digital economy, and it already started in the year of 2014. Central banks around the world are assessing the feasibility of launching their own version of the digital currencies, and these are so called as the central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. So not only China, other countries are also testing the feasibility. The interest in the CBDCs is driven by the factor which includes the declining of the cash use in the recent times. In the recent times, people use much more the digital payment systems, so physical cash use is declining right now, and the plans for a privately owned stable coin such as Facebook's proposed Libra is in news in the recent times, and it is nothing but a digital currency which is launched by Facebook in the recent times. So what is cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is a digital or a virtual currency which uses cryptography for its security, and it uses the decentralized technology to let the users make secure payments and store money without the need to use their name or go through a bank, and they run on a distributed public ledger called blockchain, which is a record of all the transactions that are happened and updated and held by the currency holders. And the most common cryptocurrencies are Bitcoin, Libra, Ethereum, Ripple and Litecoin. So, and all these terms we will see in the last as an example of it, the blockchain. So what are the blockchain? Blockchain, sometimes referred to as a distributed ledger technology, DLT, and it makes the history of any digital asset unalterable and transparent through the use of decentralization and cryptographic hashing. So these are blockchain technology is nothing but distributed technology, ledger technology. We will see what is this DLT stands for, and it is this particular blockchain cryptography is unalterable and it is decentralized. All these terms we will see. Next, blockchain consists of three important concepts: blocks, nodes and miners. Now nodes can be any kind of electronic device which maintains the copies of the blockchain and keeps the network functioning, and miners, they create new blocks and they add new blocks to each other and on the chain, and this process is called mining. Now let's see what is a blockchain. Now blockchain is nothing but a growing list of records, records of all the blocks, and these blocks are linked with each other with using some cryptography. Cryptography is a method of protecting the information and communications through the use of codes. So that only those for whom the information is intended can read and process, and each block contains a cryptographic hash of the previous block. This cryptographic hash is nothing but a record of the previous block as well, a timestamp and the transaction data. And a blockchain is resistant to any modification of data. So let's see an example, it will be clear. Let me go to some other page. Yeah, this page. Just don't read this information as of now. I'll come to it. So suppose there are four friends, A, B, C and D. They went to a restaurant for some meal or some dinner, and after their dinner is finished, B paid the whole bill, and the next day A paid the amount to his balance amount to B, and similarly D and C, they also try to pay, but in case of D and C the transaction failed. Now it can fail due to many reasons. The reason can be some technical issue. It can be some technical issue, or it can be some transfer limit issue, or it can be due to transaction charges, or it can be that their account may be compromised or hacked. This is also happening nowadays, hacked. So due to these reasons their transaction is failing. Now using this the cryptocurrencies, they are a form of digital or virtual currency, and this cryptocurrency runs on a technology called blockchain. As the name signifies that there are some block and there is a chain. Now these blockchains are nothing but some blocks which are connected with a chain or some protocol that we will see, like this, they are connected. Now the advantage of the Bitcoin is that the cryptocurrencies are that number one, it can be resistant to counterfeiting problem. Counterfeiting. Counterfeiting is nothing but the a fake currency problem. Like nowadays in a 500 and 2000 rupee note, there are some fake currencies having. So this is the problem of counterfeiting. Number 2, it can be the presence of central authority. Central authority, that is the presence of banks or RBI, which who generally controls the whole transaction. That is, whenever we are paying, the money is being paid to some other person or some other organization or e-commerce, we are using the bank's website or bank's channel to send the particular amount to the other entity. So it is the presence of some central authority. But in case of blockchain, there is no such thing called central authority. Number 3, it can be that this particular blockchain is strongly protected by complex encryption algorithm. So these are the advantages of blockchain. Let me clear it. Okay, so now let's start the previous example. Now say they are having some bitcoins with each. Suppose he is having 5 bitcoin, he is having 3 bitcoin, he is having 3 and he is having 3, and he sends 2 bitcoin to B, D sends 2 bitcoin to B, and C sends 2 bitcoin to B. Now take the case for a transaction between A and B. Let me show it here. Now when A is trying to send 2 bitcoins to B, a particular block is created, and in this block the particular informations of A and B transaction is given or is recorded. That is, A was having 3 bitcoins previously and he is having 5. He is sending 2 bitcoin to B, and now he is left with 1 and he is left with 7. And all these records, these are stored in an encryption form. Okay, is stored in an encryption form, and all these particular informations, for all these particular informations, like D is transferring some amount to B, C is also doing the same. For them also one block is created, D to B, and for C to B also. And these blocks, after their transaction is completed, they will be connected with each other. And they are all encrypted. And these particular connection, this is called a ledger. And whenever the transaction is completed, this particular ledger is distributed among all the entities in this transaction. Like this ledger particular will be distributed to A, B, C and D. Okay, this particular information, and then it will be called public distribution ledger. So the Bitcoin technology is nothing but a decentralized ledger technology. That means these particular ledger or the transaction records, this record particular, it is distributed among all the entities. That is why it is decentralized. There is no central authority which is having this record, but it is also went to the other parties as well. That is why it is decentralized. Okay, and now it is since it is decentralized, now all of these entities, that is A, B, C, D, they are having their the information of each and every bitcoins of each and everybody, like A is having 1, B is having 7, like that. And if anyone or any hacker say try to change some information in this particular ledger or any block, he will have to change the particular amount or particular information in all the blocks, subsequent blocks, because these records are created and distributed among all of them. So a hacker has to change all the data by going to each and every person. Okay. So each user has a copy of the ledger, and the data within the blocks are encrypted by complex algorithms. That is why it is very difficult for a hacker to change any data or alter any data in the blockchain. Okay. Now all of this made possible with the help of the blockchain technology, and it is also can be described as a collection of records. As you can see, these are all collection of records, different records, and these blocks are connected with each other with a strong link. There is a linkage with the block, strong linkages, and this is resistant to alteration, because no one can change the information in the blocks easily. That is why. And these blocks, these particular blockchain or the ledger information is protected using cryptography, and this is why this is very difficult. Now how this particular transaction is taking place, let's see. First let me clear it. Yeah. So now how the particular transaction is happening between all of them. Now every user, say it is A and B first, A and B here. Now every user in the Bitcoin network has two keys. One is a public key, another is a private key. Every user is having these two keys with them. A public key is nothing but an address that everyone in the network knows. That is, this key is his identity, like a mail ID or something like that. And a private key is nothing but an unique address that only the user has knowledge of, and it can be some password, it can be some fingerprint, which is very unique. Okay. Now let's see how the transaction is taking place. Now say this particular entity A is trying to send some data to B. Now he puts the wallet information that I am trying to send some amount to some information to B. Now this A is using his particular public key first, and using his public key, a hashing encryption algorithm is created. Okay, and after that, whenever he uses his private key, and when this private key is used, a digitally signed form is created, digitally signed by A, and after that this digitally signed form is sent to the internet, or sent to the whole internet, and this particular information is having now B is having some public key, and this information is having some public key of B, so that B can receive this particular amount or particular information. Now transaction is sent to the world using his public key. Now there is a issue called, there is a method called decryption. Let me write it here. Decryption, which is opposite of encryption, and he is trying to decrypt the information that is A sending, that A sends the information and he is trying to decrypt it, and when he tries to decrypt it, he will use his private key. Only then the decryption will take place, and after this decryption process is completed, the total transaction process is done. Total transaction is done. This is how the transaction is taking place between two entities. Now the Bitcoin, just wait a minute. Yeah. Now this particular different, there are different cryptocurrencies that use different hashing algorithms. So there are different hashing algorithms for different cryptocurrency. Now we are saying about Bitcoin or BTC. For Bitcoin, this particular hashing algorithm is called SHA 256 for Bitcoin, and for other cryptocurrency, like there is a other cryptocurrency called Ethereum. For Ethereum, there is it is called Ethash. So this is these are different hashing algorithms for different cryptocurrencies. Okay. Now such transactions are taking place all over. Okay. Now let's go back to our first slide to see. Yeah. Now it will be clear. A blockchain is a growing list of records called blocks that are linked using some cryptography. Now each block contains cryptographic hash of the previous block, a timestamp and a transaction data. A blockchain is resistant to modification of data, as we have seen. It is also open distributed ledger that record transactions between two entities, and it is managed by a peer-to-peer network, collectively adhering to a protocol for the internode communication and validating new blocks. Now this thing, the validation, let me tell you one thing. Now this is a ledger is created, as we have seen, some ledger is created in a Bitcoin technology, and whenever this ledger is created, it has to be validated. And who validates this ledger? There is an entity called miner who validates these transactions. Miners validate the transactions or adding of the new blocks with each other, and this validation process is called mining. These miners, this is nothing but, this is not any human being. The miners are high-end computers or some cloud server or something which are having high configuration, like many gigahertz of memory or huge amount of server data, like that. They validate this transaction process. Okay, and in reward they receive some bitcoins. And in a particular transaction they can receive up to 12.5 bitcoins. That is why these high-end computers, they are source of huge number of bitcoins. Okay, so this is all about miners. Let me clear it now. Okay, so yeah, once recorded, the data in any given block cannot be altered retroactively without alteration of all the subsequent blocks that we have just seen. That if we try to change the data of one block, we have to change the data for each and every blocks that are present in the blockchain. And remember, this blockchain, this one blockchain is distributed among all the entities that are present in the network. And if I try to change data of one block, I have to go and check the data of all the entities. It is very difficult. It is very cumbersome process. It is not possible easily. That is what is written here. Now every chain, just clear it. Yeah. Now every chain consists of multiple blocks, and each block is having three basic elements: data in the block, which is consisting the different information, and the hash of the own block and hash of the previous block, as we have seen. Now these blocks are linked with each other through these hashes, which makes the whole chain secure. Now, nodes can be any kind of electronic device that maintains the copies of the blockchain and keeps the network functioning. And what is the advantage of the blockchain? Now there are three main properties of the blockchain technology. One is the decentralization, and another is transparency, and the next is immutability. Now decentralization, we have just seen, the ledger is distributed among all the entities in the particular blockchain, so it is decentralized. The next, the transparency. In transparency, everyone can see what is happening in the block, in the whole transaction or in the whole blockchain. Everyone can see. That is why it is transparent. No one can change the data erratically. And next is the immutability. Immutability is nothing in the context of blockchain. It means something that has been entered to the blockchain, or it cannot be tampered with. The data cannot be tampered at all. The reason why the blockchain gets this property, because of the cryptographic hash function. And this hashing means taking a particular input string of any length and giving a particular output. I will show you it in a later. Here you can see this particular SHA-256 encryption method, in which I have written my channel's name, Study Simplified. And if you see that after encryption, this is the output, and this is what is happening in case of the encryption method of the Bitcoin, because Bitcoins are using SHA-256 hash function. And here you can see, in case of input, if I type this is a test, this will be the hash of this. But if I simply change the capital T with a small t here, you can see the whole thing changes, and this particular change has to be validated by all the blocks, which is very difficult. Now you can understand. Okay, so this is nothing but hashing. Bitcoin is using this particular SHA-256 hashing algorithm. So no matter how big or small your input is, the output is always having fixed 256 bit of length, and this becomes very critical when you are trying to deal with a huge amount of data, such as these kind of data. And this will be more and more number of such things will come into picture. And even if you try to make a small change out of these things, the changes that will be reflected in the hash will be huge, and it is almost impossible to do. That is why this Bitcoin is said to be so secure. So let's see what is India's stand on its digital currency or cryptocurrency. Now RBI banned the cryptocurrencies in the year of 2018 by a circular. It considered cryptocurrencies as a poor unit of account and also demonstrated by their frequent and high fluctuation rate in value, because the cryptocurrencies are mined with the use of miners, so it is having a high fluctuation rate and a frequent fluctuation rate, so it can be detrimental for the economy. And RBI also stated that it posed several risks such as anti-money laundering and the terror financing risk, and for the state and liquidity and credit and operational risk for the users. So since the cryptocurrencies are decentralized, that means no central authority can keep a close watch on the currency circulation. So there can be always a risk of terror financing, and it is considering it can be severe for countries like India, where terrorism is a big factor. And it had also said that it would seriously consider developing its own version, that is its own several digital currency, in the near future. And but subsequently the Supreme Court had struck down the circular of RBI, which bans the financial institutions such as banks and other institutions which can deal in the digital and cryptocurrencies. And this particular ban of RBI was also challenged by the Internet and Mobile Association of India, IAMA, citing that dealing and trading in cryptocurrency was a legitimate business activity, that the RBI did not have jurisdiction over over their business activities, as these assets, they are classified as commodities rather than currency. So these are all about the cryptography and digital currency and blockchain technology. So thank you very much.